Good afternoon, beautiful black people. I hope that all is well in your world. And this day is a beautiful day. Just a beautiful day for you and all of your wonderful, wonderful loved ones. My beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. You hear Trump. You hear Trump and his dumbass family talk about good genes, Genes. Trump has an obsession with that term, good genes. He professes about it all the time. He does not come out and say it directly, but what he is propagating is that white folks' genes, genetics, are purer than all non-white folks' genes/genetics. And when I hear white folks like Trump propagate, just keep propagating, after 400 years, after the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1968, I believe, and so many changes, advances, truths that have been accepted right here on this plantation called America. You still have these dumbass white folks that are espousing, trying to perfect white supremacy, trying to extend white supremacy, trying to advance white supremacy, trying to normalize white supremacy. And those actions, that behavior of white folks like Trump and his millions of white racist followers is an indication that these folks are cognitively deficient. They are mentally deficient. They are physically deficient. And they know some of these things themselves. If you study real human biology, not the human biology that have been created, written, published by racist white folks to enhance white supremacy. Not that human biology. You must get a handle on real human biology. And real human biology will educate you. It will state truthfully and factually that white folks, those white folks, have an excess of recessive genes. They have an excess. Their being, their human bodies are dominated by recessive genes. And if you were to identify, define that word, recessive, We could also say that that word recessive is synonymous with deficient, mutated, retarded. All of those words are synonymous. So therefore, recessive genes are deficient genes. They are lacking purity by the pure genetic standards. Recessive genes are mutated. They are lacking something. And the study of real human biology will inform you that black folks, people that look like me, have an excess of dominant genes. We have an excess of dominant genes. Dominant genes are more pure. Dominant genes are more healthy. Dominant genes are 10 to 15 times stronger than recessive genes. Dominant genes are better. Dominant genes are superior. Dominant genes are not lacking as much when compared with recessive genes. Trump keep espousing his position, his opinions regarding good genes. But obviously, he is too ignorant to know that his genes are recessive genes. And when compared with my genes, dominant genes, my dominant genes are 10 to 15 times stronger, healthier, pure than his recessive genes. So the logical progression would be that Trump is deficient. If his genetics are deficient, then his physical abilities will be deficient. Then his cognitive abilities will be deficient also. So there's no way white folks could be superior. That is a lie that white folks have propagated, because originally there were white folks that was wise enough to know that their genetics were deficient. Therefore, they must have devised a system and propagated it across the globe that white folks' genetics are superior. That white folks are superior in every category where comparisons can be made. They have propagated the lie that white folks are superior. And finally, do you know that white folks are hybrids? hybrids. They're hybrids. They are hybrids. Something caused their genetics to be recessive. Something caused their genetics to be lacking. You just don't lose the purity of your genetics and then pass that down through many generations of white folks. Something caused that deficiency, and it's called hybridization. Do you know that to get plants, trees, and other things to produce the efficacy that these demented, delusional white folks want, they will hybridize those plants using chemicals, substances, etc., etc. They will hybridize those plants. And every time you hybridize anything, be it a plant, an animal, a human, or anything that is hybridized will lose the offspring from that hybridization process. The offspring, the product, what it produces will be lacking in quality, will be lacking in strength, physical strength, will be lacking in longevity, will be lacking in cognitive abilities, will be lacking, period. Every time you hybridize something, it loses quality. It loses purity. It loses strength, physical strength. It loses mental abilities. So there's no way logically, if you use the facts, if you use the truths that have been established, if you use facts, there's no way white folks can be superior. There's just no way it can happen. It is a lie. They are not superior. They are not superior. They are not superior. They have recessive genes. And that is the root of who we are. Our genetics, our DNA is the root cause of who we are, of who we become, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Be proud of having an excess of dominant genes like me. Be proud of having an excess of dominant genes. They are less lacking. They are more pure than recessive genes. Period. Unequivocally. That's all I have on this one.